Here is your latest African news. Zimbabwe. Victoria Falls World Heritage status hangs in balance. There are fears that the Victoria Falls could be delisted as a World Heritage Site following massive construction activities on either side of the Zambezi River, which might have tampered with some animal corridors and natural sites. These have been carried out on either sides of the Zambezi River between Zambia and Zimbabwe since the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, added Victoria Falls to the list in 1989. This was based on its unique geomorphological formation and remarkable natural beauty. UNESCO is assessing if the destination still qualifies as a World Heritage Site. As the custodian of this site, UNESCO recently sent a monitoring team to assess the current state of Victoria Falls and its environs. The UN body has the mandate to carry periodic assessments. Tanyaradzwa Mundoga, Deputy Director of Zimbabwe Environment, Climate and Natural Resources, says there is need to safeguard the natural habitat so as to keep Victoria Falls in its pristine state. Victoria Falls' falling water blanket is about 1.7 kilometers wide and falls 108 meters down the gorge and is classified as the largest waterfall in the world. The waterfall is within Victoria Falls National Park, which together with the Victoria Falls Bridge attract a significant number of tourists annually. It is one of the 5 World Heritage Sites in Zimbabwe. South Sudan. South Sudan opposition withdraws from peace body. South Sudan's main opposition party has said that they are withdrawing from a body overseeing the young nation's lumbering peace process, dealing a fresh blow to its elusive quest for stability. The Sudan People's Liberation Movement in opposition, led by Vice President Riek Machar, pulled out of the peace monitoring mechanism to protest continued unprovoked attacks of its bases by its peace partner. The withdrawal adds to fissures between factions loyal to Machar and President Salva Kiir that have dragged out the implementation of a fragile 2018 peace agreement that ended fighting between the two men. In 2013, the country was engulfed in a devastating 5-year civil conflict between forces loyal to Kiir and Machar, which claimed thousands of lives and forced millions of people to flee their homes. The two men created a unity government 2 years ago, consolidating a peace pact reached in 2018 that ended the violence. Burkina Faso. Sankara trial resumes after 3-week hiatus. The trial for the October 1987 assassination of the former Burkinabe President Sankara and his colleagues has resumed after the Constitutional Council rejected a defense position. The lawyer assisting the former medical officer charged with forging Sankara's death certificate pleaded for acquittal, while 2 other defendants' lawyers also pleaded for their clients to be acquitted. Citing the 34-year time lapse between the trial and the acts alleged against the accused, they put forward a statute of limitations and a lack of witnesses. The Sankara trial was suspended in early March after the defense petitioned the Constitutional Council. Citing the Council's approval of the military takeover by Colonel Damiba, the lawyers challenged the charges of crime against national security, asking for them to be dropped on the basis of an exception of unconstitutionality. However, the Council rejected their petition. Nigeria to witness agricultural boom with Dangote's 2.5 bn Fertilizer plant. President Muhammadu Buhari has commissioned a new 3 million metric tons capacity per annum state-of-the-art Dangote Fertilizer urea plant, with an emphatic assurance that the project would give a huge boost to Nigeria's agricultural sector, with the revitalization being a focal point of his administration's economic policy. The new plant, which he commissioned in the presence of some 18 governors, ministers, captains of industries as well as prominent traditional rulers, is located in Ibeju-Lekki, Lagos Free Trade Zone within the periphery of the Dangote refinery. President Buhari said the coming on stream of the plant would create huge opportunities in the areas of employment, trade, warehousing, transport and logistics, and greatly create wealth, drastically reducing poverty and securing the future of the nation. Dangote stated that the fertilizer plant is rolling out with innovations that would transform the agricultural sector in the form of extension services for small and medium-scale farmers. It has set up a well-equipped fertilizer soil testing laboratory to enable it to analyze and identify soil deficiency and the appropriate fertilizer blend. Guinea. Guinea's national conference opens in Conakry. Meetings aimed at promoting reconciliation opened in Conakry 6 months after a military coup upset Guinea's constitutional order. Dubbed the National Conference, the meetings to be held over several weeks will bring together political parties, youth groups, women's organizations, traditional leaders, and the civil society to discuss what military leader Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya has called as a new institutional framework for the country. The country's army leaders have not spelled out a schedule for a return to civilian rule despite pressure from West Africa's regional bloc ECOWAS. It is not clear what the authorities will do with the recommendations of the meetings. In 2016, Guinea held a similar event. Nigeria. Nigerian Ogoni 9 widows lose case against Shell in Netherlands. A Dutch court has rejected a case brought by 4 Nigerian widows against oil giant Shell over their husband's execution by the military regime that ruled their country in the 1990s. They accused Shell of involvement in the arrest, detention, prosecution, and eventual execution of their husbands, who opposed the group's exploitation of oil resources in Orgoni, southern Nigeria. But the Dutch court ruled that their position was based on interpretation and supposition and that they had no evidence to back their accusations. The widows' complaint alleged that Shell had been involved in corrupting witnesses in the trial of the Ogoni 9, who in November 1995 were convicted by a military tribunal for involvement in the murder of 4 Ogoni leaders. Witnesses had testified to the court that they had signed pre-prepared statements and had been coached to incriminate the defendants in return for the promise of payments and jobs. They said they had been told that the money they received came from Shell. All the defendants insisted they were innocent of the charges against them, and rights organizations including Amnesty have argued that their trial was a sham. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow, share and like our video. It's the best way of supporting us. Great news! You can now buy our African children's book Maua and the Gardens of Plenty, a book that teaches children the power of great ideas. This book is the best way to start exposing your children to African stories told by Africans. Find the purchase link in the description below. You can directly support this news series by becoming our YouTube member, Patreon or donor, and remember, Africa is watching.